Today we're going to factor 4 terms, and we're going to factor by grouping. And another method we're going to do is called the inside-out box. Similar to the box method that you use for multiplying polynomials, we're going to do that in reverse. So basically what we're doing is we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, and we want to make it look like a multiplication problem. Totally just going backwards through how we did multiplying polynomials. Okay, we're going to do this problem first by grouping, and then I'll show you how to do it by the inside-out box. So for grouping, we're going to look at 2 of the terms at a time, and we're going to factor out the greatest common factor. So for 4xy and 8y, the greatest common factor is 4y. And then we want to put inside of here what's left over. So 4xy divided by 4y is x. And 8y divided by 4y is 2. That's just like we did on the last standard. Now we're going to do it again on these 2 terms. So the greatest common factor here is 3. And what goes in the parentheses then is x plus 2. So basically we did factor by grouping twice. The last step is going to be recognizing that these 2 are the same. So that is going to be one of the factors. And the other factor is the 2 that are left over here. The 4y plus 3 is the other factor. And so that is our answer. Now we're going to do this same problem again, but we're going to use the inside-out box method. I actually like that one better. So here's the inside-out box. And I have made a box just like we did on our multiplication. And I am going to put one of the terms in each of the boxes. So 4xy, we have 8y, we have 3x, and we have 6. So you can see each of your teachers' faces in there. They are each going to factor theirs. So Miss Bueno is going to say, all right, hers reduces to 2 times 2 times x times y. Miss King is going to do her problem, and that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times y. Miss Kilcullen is going to do hers, which is 2 times 3. And Miss Noby is going to do hers, which is 3 times x. We just broke down those factors into their least common or into their, lowest factors. So now what you do in this method is instead of multiplying out, we're going to look for common factors. So I'm going to look between Bueno and King, and I'm going to say they both have 2 times 2, which is 4, and they both have a y. So on the outside here, I'm going to write 4y. Noby and Kilcullen, they each have a 3, so I'm going to write 3 outside. Now, we're going to look at the columns, the vertical columns. And Bueno and Noby each have an x, so I'm going to put an x at the top of the column. Kilcullen and King each have a 2, so I'm going to put a 2 at the top of the column. So to find our answer, we just read this off. This is x plus 2, and actually I'm going to scoot it over just a little bit. X plus 2, and then the other factor you read here, 4y plus 3. 4y plus 3. And if you look back at your last problem, 4y plus 3 times x plus 2, you get exactly the same thing for your answer this way. So you can decide which way to do. I actually like this method the best because when the problems get harder, it works really, really well. Let's try a whole nother problem. We're going to try this way by grouping. So we're going to group our problems together like this. So, let me get a new color. How about blue? Okay. So what do these first two have in common? They both have the factor of n. And then they have r plus 5 left over in the parentheses. Now what do these two both have in common? All I see is a negative 1. And then they have r plus 5 left over. Alright, to come up with our answer, what's in the parentheses, as long as they match, that's one of the factors. And then the other factor is what's on the outside, what you factored out. And that's going to be n minus 1. So that's our answer. Let's try it now with the inside-out box method. So we would put our terms on the inside of the box. That's why it's the inside out. You start inside and you factor out. And then you just have to think to yourself, sometimes you don't have to write out the factors on the inside like this. You don't have to write r times n or 5 times n, but sometimes it's helpful when the numbers are big, okay? Negative 1 times r, negative 1 times 5. So, what factors are in common on the first row? Bueno and King both have an n. Noby and Kilcullen both have a negative 1. And then we're going to look at the row, or the column. So what do they have in common here? They both have an r, and they both have a 5. So to read off our answer, what we do is we say that's one of the factors, n minus 1. And here's another factor, r plus 5. That's very difficult to read, isn't it? R plus 5. That's better. Alright, so that's the answer to that one. And is it the same? n minus 1, r plus 5. Very good. N minus 1, r plus 5. We did it. Alright, now you try 2. Here are 2 problems. They both have 4 terms, and you need to use the grouping method or the box method. Either one. You need to try both problems for credit for tomorrow. Also, write down any specific questions that you have if you need help with it for tomorrow. We'll answer it at the beginning of class. Thank you.